12-year-old Aaliyah Walker had just finished taking her math test at school, and excitement bubbled inside her. She couldn't wait to go shopping with her mother, Lisa. It was a bright and warm Saturday afternoon in New York City, the perfect day for a little mother-daughter outing. As they walked into Evermart, a massive department store that sold just about everything, Aaliyah's eyes sparkled with anticipation. She always loved shopping trips with her mom, especially when she got to pick out a brand new book or maybe even a sweet treat. The two of them strolled through the aisles, chatting and laughing, enjoying their time together. At one point, Lisa stopped near the skincare section, her eyes scanning the shelves. "Aaliyah, honey, hold my purse for a second while I check these out," she said, handing it over. Aaliyah clutched it carefully, standing nearby as she hummed her favorite song to herself, gently swaying to the rhythm. But just then, out of nowhere, a tall woman with sharp facial features and striking blonde hair appeared. She wore elegant, expensive clothes, and her posture screamed of self-importance. She had an air about her, the kind of presence that made her feel superior to others. This woman, Karen Mitchell, stopped and stared at Aaliyah for a long moment, her eyes narrowing as if making some kind of judgment. Then, without warning, she lunged forward and snatched Lisa's purse right out of Aaliyah's hands. "I saw you steal this purse," Karen accused, her voice loud and cutting through the air like a knife. Aaliyah's heart jumped in shock, her eyes going wide. "What? No. This is my mom's purse," she exclaimed, her voice trembling with both fear and disbelief. She instinctively reached for it, trying to take it back. But Karen tightened her grip, glaring down at her. "Don't lie to me. I saw you sneaking around. Little thieves like you need to be taught a lesson," she spat, her tone dripping with accusation. Aaliyah's chest tightened. What was happening? Why was this stranger attacking her like this? People in the store began turning their heads, drawn by the commotion. Karen's voice had been loud enough to make sure she got an audience. Hearing the raised voices, Lisa hurried back to find her daughter, looking terrified, Karen clutching her purse, and a small crowd beginning to gather. Lisa's protective instincts kicked in immediately. "Excuse me, what do you think you're doing?" Lisa demanded, her voice sharp as she stormed up to them. Karen scoffed, her face full of smug satisfaction. "I caught this girl stealing a purse. I did the right thing stopping her." Lisa's face turned red with anger. "That's my purse. You just ripped it out of my daughter's hands." Karen's mouth opened as if to argue, but before she could say another word, a security guard appeared, accompanied by several bystanders who had heard the entire exchange. "What's going on here?" the security guard asked, his gaze shifting between the two women and Aaliyah, who was still frozen in disbelief. Karen, now feeling even more confident with an authority figure present, pointed directly at Aaliyah. This little thief was caught red-handed. "I stopped her before she could run off with someone's belongings," she declared, her voice full of self-righteous conviction. Then, turning to Lisa, she added, "And if this is your purse, prove it." Lisa's blood boiled. She reached into the bag Karen had so violently taken and pulled out her ID. "Here's my driver's license. Go ahead, check the name. Everything inside that purse belongs to me." The security guard took a careful look, and a man in the crowd muttered, "This ain't right. That girl didn't steal anything. That woman just grabbed it from her." Aaliyah swallowed hard, her heart racing. Would anyone believe her? At that moment, the situation escalated even further. Someone had called the police. Within minutes, 2 officers arrived on the scene. One was Officer Jackson, a tall black man with a calm but authoritative presence. The other was Officer Carter, a stocky white man who looked serious but fair-minded. Karen, now feeling completely in control, frantically waved them over. "Officers, arrest this girl. She's a thief," she practically shrieked, gesturing wildly at Aaliyah. Officer Jackson's eyes flicked to the young girl, who was clearly holding back tears, then to Lisa, who looked absolutely livid. He kept his voice steady. "Ma'am, can you explain exactly what happened?" he asked Lisa. Lisa took a deep breath, trying to contain her fury. "This woman just accused my daughter of stealing my purse. She snatched it right out of her hands. Officer Carter turned to Karen. "Did you actually see this girl steal the purse?" he asked, raising an eyebrow. Karen folded her arms and huffed. "I saw her with it, and she looked suspicious." That was enough. Officer Jackson exhaled sharply and shook his head. "That's not how this works, ma'am. You can't just assume someone is stealing because they look suspicious." Lisa held up her ID once more. "Here. Look at my name. Check the contents of the bag. Everything inside it belongs to me." Officer Carter carefully inspected the ID and the bag's contents before nodding. "Everything checks out," he confirmed. Karen's confidence wavered. "Well, how was I supposed to know?" She just looked guilty. A ripple of murmurs ran through the crowd. Someone in the back muttered, "Wow. Just say you assumed because she's black." Officer Jackson's expression hardened. "Ma'am, you just falsely accused a child and caused a public disturbance. That's a serious issue." Karen's face drained of color. "Wait, I was just trying to help," she stammered, her voice suddenly unsure. Officer Carter sighed. "You didn't help anyone. Instead, you harassed an innocent girl and created an unnecessary scene." Lisa wrapped her arms around Aaliyah as she sniffled. "This isn't okay. People like her do this all the time, humiliating people in public based on nothing but their own bias." The crowd murmured in agreement. "She should be charged," someone shouted. "This is racial profiling," another added. Karen glanced around, growing more nervous by the second. I didn't mean to." Officer Jackson pulled out his notepad. "Ma'am, I need your full name. We'll be filing a report for harassment and false accusations." Karen gasped. "You're punishing me?" She looked around desperately for support, but found none. Just then, the store manager arrived, his expression stern. "We do not tolerate this kind of behavior here. Ma'am, you're banned from Evermart indefinitely." Karen's jaw dropped. "You can't do that." "Yes, we can," the manager replied firmly. "Now please leave before we escort you out." The crowd erupted into applause. Lisa hugged Aaliyah close. "Are you okay, babies?" Aaliyah wiped her tears. "Yeah, I just don't get why she did that." Lisa looked into her daughter's eyes. Some people judge others unfairly. But today, she learned that her actions have consequences. Karen stormed out, her face burning with shame, while the officers finished their report. That night, as Lisa and Aaliyah sat on the couch, they watched the video of the incident, now viral. Thousands of people were calling out Karen's behavior and praising the officers. "I hope she learned her lesson," Aaliyah muttered. Lisa smiled. "More importantly, I hope the world learns a lesson." Aaliyah nodded. "And next time, I'm holding my own purse." They both laughed, knowing justice had been served.